Last time on Dungeons, Drive-Ins, and Dice.
Force feed Chudge both of my secret ingredients.
All of a sudden, Mikey grabs Chutch by the shoulders and throws him out into this open area that splits off. And he kicks open the door. First,
I shoot him.
You shoot him? So he drops to his knees with a moan of pain as he kind of falls to them. And Cookie runs up and slams a walk into his head, and he kind of sees stars for a second and drops onto his face. This dude brandishes his knife, and Carl, you see a tractor beam come through this doorway, and his knife just whoops out of his fucking hands. I think what he's gonna do is actually jump after his knife.
I'm gonna try to aim for the Gray's head, like, as he lands.
As he hits the ground, he's like blasted in the head, and you hear like he kind of crumples up into a ball, and you hear like a
I feed him my secret ingredients.
He just sort of looks around at their allies on the ground and in the room and says, "I don't want any more lives to be lost here. Let me just take my Chutch and go."
Give me your shoes.
Give you my shoes! And they all hobble together up the grand staircase slowly and out of sight. But you find yourself in a small-ish little stone, like natural stone room. There are mushrooms growing up along like little shelves on the walls.
Then once I've gathered the mushrooms and ascertained that I am stuck, I'm just gonna start rhythmically banging my walk on the cavern until someone comes and gets me.
And you cook everyone a big stew. What do you cook them? I don't want to tell you what you cook them with your mushrooms.
Filled like pot pies.
Ooh, okay, I like that. Did you go out into the mines and pick a bunch of those little green mushrooms growing in the small rooms and the cracks in the walls?
I say I absolutely did not.
He has like a pimple on his nose, and this pimple, you see it like bulb up a little bit, and then you see it kind of unfold from the skin. It's like a little mushroom cap kind of hanging out on his nose. You all dip as they start to mushroom up. Your ship jets off into the atmosphere and into space, leaving the mushroom miners behind you.
And now we return to our adventure.
All right, cool.
Level 2, bitches.
Oh yeah, Gabe is level 2. Do you want to tell us about your level 2, Gabe?
Yeah, you gonna fucking kick our asses now?
No. I bumped my strength up by 1.
Oh, you really are gonna kick our ass.
Because it seems like I do that a lot. I use my strength and my wisdom, and so I'm gonna juice that. And then I took one advanced move, and that was Test Kitchen, which lets me basically anytime I think of like a neat thing that an ingredient can do, I can roll Test Kitchen and ask my wonderful GM some restrictions on that, as far as like what sorts of things can, or like what sorts of requirements do I have to find this ingredient or make this dish. But I can literally come up with whatever I want as far as like what the ingredient does. I can be like, I want an ingredient that supplies electrical power. And I would roll Test Kitchen, and depending on how good I rolled, that would be the number of ingredients or number of restrictions the GM can put on my power generating mushroom.
The restrictions are pretty intense, but that's only because his leeway with his like creative freedom is so 100% here.
But the moment that I satisfy all of them, I get that ingredient.
Mm-hmm.
And as an example of that, I actually want to roll that power generating ingredient.
What?
Like, I'd like to use my Test Kitchen move. That's like the first thing I'm going to want to do.
To make a power generator in food?
Mm-hmm. Because of another thing I heard while you were re-listening to old episodes, was that there's like a huge chunk of this space station that doesn't have power and is basically there's been some sort of problem.
Yeah, so you
And
want to
So you want to cook a solution to the engineering problem.
All right, so
Mm-hmm. I'd like a fungus solution. I have no intention of sharing it with...
There's got to be a conductive fungus.
Yeah, I have no intention of sharing it with the engineering crew, because my chutchlings will handle that whenever I have chutchlings.
roll Test Kitchen.
Yeah,
That's
that is a
first
wisdom
step with
roll.
Test kitchen.
When you want an ingredient that conveys incredible effects, state what you want it to do. Generate power.
Mhm.
Roll cook or forage.
Yep.
On a 9, the GM chooses three of those that I will have to satisfy before I can have my power mushroom.
What did
My
you
Mario shroom, as it were.
what did you roll?
I rolled 9.
You rolled a 9. Okay. Cookie spends quite a bit of time in the food and O2 production area. The three of you actually notice, I'll say that you've been back for about a week, that you really even haven't seen Cookie at all. I would say that Cookie left to do this pretty quickly after you guys returned. Cookie just had an idea and went off to do it. And since then, Cookie's just been gone. And Cookie, where you have been is the food and O2 production. You've been camping out in the woods. You've been getting to know every nook and cranny of this place to really learn what this place has to offer to give you this effect. What did you roll? Did you roll forage or cook? Because it's cook or
Since it's an ingredient, I'm rolling forage.
you're
I
looking
think.
for an ingredient. Okay.
They're both wisdom rolls, but I think in this instance, forage makes best sense.
Okay. 3 of these things. Cookie spends, like I said, that week going around just learning the plants and the flora, the fauna of this whole area, the purposes of as many as she can come across. There's a few that stick out to her. One is called a pinwheel, which is a little flowers that grow on windy hills that spin in the wind. That's ingredient number 1. You find some other, we're gonna call them buzz shrooms. They give sort of a massive adrenaline boost to the people that eat them. They're a little bit harder to find in general, but you feel like you're getting somewhere. You have a few of these ingredients picked out for things that you might need. But in order to complete this process, you feel like you're going to need an expert on flora, that's plants.
Mm-hmm.
An expert on the flora that you can find on this station. You are going to need, that you're not just going to find this ingredient here. You're going to need to work with this expert in order to crossbreed several plants together in order to grow something that might be able to do something like this, produce power on its own. I think with that answer, it's going to take hours, days, and weeks of research, longer than this singular week of research. But I think that this week is spent learning those 3 triggers for what you're going to need to do in order to get this done.
I need an expert. I need weeks
You're
of
almost done.
search. What was the last thing I needed?
You're going to need to work with the expert to crossbreed several of these plants together in order to get this ingredient.
I can take that, but that sort of feels like the merging of the 2 other things you've already said.
That is
Expert and weeks of research. I'm happy to.
You're going
to do
to
it
I mean you're
for
going to
2
need
things.
to grow you're going to need to grow it yourself first. Is
Okay.
the bit. You need to find someone that can help you. You're going to need to do the work with them, and then you're going to need to actually grow this ingredient yourself.
Would a buzz shroom be a standard or a gourmet ingredient?
I don't think that you collect any of these ingredients for your actual thing. You'll need to actually do a forage roll for those. I guess you did do a forage roll and you got a 9. So what is a 9 for your forage?
That's a great question.
I'm willing to let those 2 things go together. When you're doing your test kitchen, you can
On the
just be
79,
foraging.
choose one gourmet ingredient or 3 staple ingredients.
Okay, yeah. So either 1 buzz shroom, gourmet ingredient, or 3 pinwheels.
I'm gonna go with the 3. I feel like I'm low on standard ingredients.
I like that. Think about where you want to look for your expert. Carl, talk to me about.
I already know. You've introduced her already.
Okay. We'll okay, then we'll roll back to that in just a second.
You could roll forward to me because I'm fulfilling my wingman duties in my week. Don't worry.
Carl, what is?
Don't worry, I'll come to you, Slippy. So let's do a little world building here. Carl is searching for information. Now, my millennial ass thinks, oh, well, space internet, but I don't imagine such a thing exists, because then you got to deal with, like, are space influencers a thing? Like, do we all have space TikTok? Like, that's a lot to deal with in a campaign setting.
Probably. I mean, it's a lot to deal with, but also I think it's
or
important.
do we have like
You want
a
me to
data
roll for my
archive
algorithm?
or something?
It's important to develop. Definitely. I don't think it's as far along as like everyone has cell phones in their pockets. There's not like an intergalactic TikTok that you guys are rolling, enjoying as you're flying through space. There is definitely a connection. Like, this station can send orders back to the home ship to have, ingredients, storage, supplies, whatnot brought here, people brought here.
I guess it's more like, do we have access to like data archives on board the ship?
I think you could get
assume.
access to some form of data archive, yeah. Depending on like what your rank is depending on what you'll have access to, right? Like, you can't just go up and type in government secrets and and get them.
Again, like in my millennial brain, I was like, all right, Carl needs to learn how to get into the dark web, but that doesn't exist here either. And there's not going to be anything on the government data archives on like how to fight the government. So Carl's really struggling with furthering his knowledge.
I think that there, if you're looking for NPCs that would be good, there's a couple we've introduced. I think the bridge is a great place because you're the closest to the like font of information. If something is coming out, going in, it generally is going to go through Captain Marjorie or Captain Rake, her second in command. We've also introduced the AI that was helping Dante helping BBW with his machines, and that is Core. Core is the security station for the ship, basically. I don't know if either of those NPCs are ones you want to watch, tail, get to know, get in with, or we can also introduce a new one if you're like looking for.
I think
Where do we go looking?
Carl is gonna go to Slippy for advice. Actually,
I like that.
he was gonna do it with the dark web anyway. He was gonna be like, "Do you know how to get Tor browser? I have no idea."
You want me to tear open what?
The government.
The government?
Just a little bit.
And Slippy puts an arm around your hulking frame compared to me, I assume. And Slippy goes, no. But that doesn't mean I'm not into it. And then Slippy removes his arm.
Do you have any tips?
Probably like, I assume there had to have been a government before this, right? So maybe you could go to the library and check out the history books. Because as they say, history is doomed to repeat itself. And that probably means that I'm going to get back with Carissa here in a couple weeks.
I've never heard that before. That's a new one to me.
That's a saying that people say all the time about how Slippy is going to get back with Carissa again.
Oh, I'll have to start saying that then. That's pretty cool. Yeah. History. I'll keep that in mind. Thanks for catching me up on the lingo.
Yeah, I hope that helped.
I'm gonna go spend a week at the archives, honestly.
Okay.
Because I don't know if I brought it up, but like the planet that he's from is very new to the system kind of thing. So he probably doesn't know almost anything about the history generally.
No, I really like that. I like that. So if you're a culture that has just been basically developed into this bubble, I would say that a Delta station probably, while Ka'arl was alive, showed up outside of your planet and began this whole process of integrating into the
integrate or die.
Integrating into the sphere of influence of the back Atmos star system. So I think that you're probably actually the most intimately aware of like what your team will be looking for, or closer to that, and what you'll be doing when you make it to these planets. But you were there, so yeah, you have just been developed into this system. The archives is, if you imagine like towers and towers of, like in Futurama when they do like deliveries of the bodies to like the cemeteries, like rows and rows and rows
I know.
of I can't think of the right coffins in the walls, and then you just like that, but it's like all data points and stuff. And there's like little hover platforms that'll carry you up to the data points along the wall for whatever you're looking for. And you spend some time in there. I think that there's several NPCs that roll in and out of here. Core is one of them, consistently coming in and updating like many access points throughout the day. See, there is another NPC. Her name is Charlie, and she is a dolphin-like alien creature. She is mostly in here taking care of data points along with Core. She seems to be like Core's assistant, but like stationed here. Let's see. Do me a spout lore. That feels like the most close thing to what we're looking for.
Int, I think I have a -1 to int.
Nice.
Yeah, Curl's dumb motherfucker.
That tracks. That tracks with what we're doing here.
Although that is an 11.
Okay. You spend the week going through all of these data points, and you're looking up the history of the Back Atmos star system in general. And I think what you find is they're on a very forward path. It's hard to imagine the cyclical nature of this path as like, if you look at all of the cultures that it keeps pulling in, they have pretty cyclical histories. There's like a king that'll rise, or a monarch of some kind that'll rise, and then they'll get to some sort of too much power, and the civilization will revolt, and it just sort of folds in on itself, and someone comes out of it, the leader, and it just sort of repeats itself over and over again. I think you find that in human history and in all of these different cultures throughout. But what is sort of unique is that this is come out of one culture and across several star systems at this point, that it is just an ever-growing culture that doesn't seem to be folding in on itself. And thinking about it rolling back in the cyclical nature is like, how to restart this down the line is difficult to imagine. So you get lost a little bit in that history, but you find a data point about the history of this specific station that you're on while you're going through all this information. And it is a little bit deeper of a dive into what happened when the station exploded. Is that you find a small bit of an article that says that they brought a life form onto the station and that they were studying it in the science bay. The explosion that occurred was they had chosen to test an incorrect chemical on this new life form, and it caused it to expand so critically and rapidly that it took out the science bay and most of the workers in there, and then just like
Andesium.
basically filled the bottom of the station up, and they had to seal the doors off. They simply haven't opened them since. It seems that I think you're able to put 2 and 2 together. A lot of the power draw on the station has been from, like, it seems that this, whatever had happened down there has just been sucking that energy since.
Cool, we're just riding around with a bomb.
Yes, so a little bit more immediately relevant than finding secrets about the whole star system.
Yeah.
Slippy, where do you spend your week?
So really quick, I want some walkie-talkies.
Yeah,
I've got some money. Yeah.
You do have money because you chose the money, and I added walkie-talkies into the merchant.
Yeah, great. What's the price on those walkie-talkies? I couldn't find them.
I think it's 50. It's sheet 2. Let me.
What do we get
Team
paid for that
com
last job?
65.
For the last team comms, exactly. You received 30 each, 30 credits each.
Oh, all right.
I've
So
got
I'm
35.
gonna buy walkie-talkies.
Sweet.
That's the first thing I'm gonna do.
Lit. You buy walkie-talkies for the team.
And then I'm gonna use my walkie-talkie and I'm gonna go, "Hey, this is Slippy. Come in, Cookie."
How am I supposed to know you have all the walkie-talkie? You bought them.
Okay, I spend
You're
the
just
day-
talking to yourself.
He could have bought him in
spend
the.
the day going and giving the walkie-talkies to everybody. And then about 10 minutes after I hand you the walkie-talkie, you hear, "Hey, this is Slippy. Come in, Cookie."
Fuck yeah.
Over.
Yes, Slippy. What is it?
Hey, how's it going? Do you have
Got any stuff going on? Need any help with anything? I was thinking about going and visiting the botanist.
I mean, there's always things I can ask you to do. If you're visiting the botanist, I can certainly give you an errand.
Hey, that's what I'm here for. What do we got? What does the botanist need for you? Bottles? That's what they do, right?
Yes. Yes, that is yes. Botanists
Over.
love bottles.
Over.
They especially love bottles full of alcohol, I've been told. But
Well, I just bought a bunch of walkie-talkies, so I'm kind of tapped out. Do you have any booze?
bet there is booze to be found. That's not relevant.
Hey, you know what? I can go steal some booze. I'm the stealth specialist. Don't worry.
My errand for you, though, has nothing to do with alcohol. I need you to go and reintroduce me to the botanist. I've
As
introduced
a concept or
her
physically?
in passing,
Over.
but I'm very busy.
As a concept.
I've been a very, very busy bee, if you'll my pun.
Don't get it.
Don't get it.
That's cool. That's all right. The audience will. I need her help. And so if you could let her know that I will be talking soon, that would be most excellent.
Oh yeah, I can lay some table work for you. We'll set you up.
Also, while I'm talking to you here,
Yep.
what can you
Over.
tell me about Carl? Over.
What do you want to know? Kind of octopus person, you know, has some good whispers with him.
I did know that they were an octopus person. Any further details?
Really
Relevant.
interested in history.
Oh.
About like politics and government, that type of thing. I don't know. I think they might be studying to become a politician or something like that, or like maybe the opposite of that. Maybe a reverse politician, if that makes sense.
Okay. Well,
I've actually got 15 intelligence, so actually I'm pretty smart.
then
Over.
Then be that way. We should swap stats because I've only got 12.
Over.
Over and out.
Yeah, I'm gonna go see the botanist then.
I've
Goodbye.
got 12 over and out. Okay, so Old Lady Weathers is a massive elderly cephalopod. If Carl is an octopus, she is a squid. Like, she's huge and long and much
And
taller.
her name is Old Lady Winters again?
Weathers.
As you said? Weathers, okay, gotcha.
Yes, Old Lady Weathers. When you come across her, she is watering from like 6 of her tentacles. She's watering several plants with different watering pails.
Oh, hello, Old Lady Weathers. I've just been meaning to see you. Please allow me to help you with one of those.
You feel a little tickle in your brain, and you hear a "thank you," and one of her tentacles brings back one of the pails to you.
I help her do some watering.
How can I help you today, young one?
Well, actually, I had some plants that I was looking to learn about, but they're with my friend Cookie. So I just came by to sort of say hello and see how you were doing and let you know that Cookie will be by later.
Cookie is that...
The ant wasp lady. That's
Anyway.
my coworker.
Oh,
The cook.
yes, I've seen her out and about lately, checking
Oh, yeah,
out
very
many of
hard
the
worker.
plants. Yes, I have
Very
noticed this
busy bee. I've
myself.
been told that's funny.
I don't get it myself, but I
I
think-
didn't get it either.
I think that someone may. Is there you said there's a plant you wanted to ask me about, or that I've seen your friend?
I think it's a
the
plant
Cookie
that
Ant
they
Wasp?
have. Cookie has the plant. I'm just here to let you know that they're coming on by, and I can't help but noticing that your carapace is looking a little dry. I actually have developed this little poultice that might help you. Do you mind if I give you a little tester? Try it out.
Super rude. Super rude to talk to a bug about their carapace.
What poultice did you develop?
Are you Old Lady Winters or are you God?
I'm God, but okay, I'll play it. We'll play. She says, I have been feeling a little dry lately. I'll take a rub, and she offers the same tentacle back to you.
Hell yeah. Okay, so I have this little pouch.
I'll take a rub.
And I put 3 or 4 fingers in, and we do a nice little rub on them.
And like an anime, there's like the background kind of blurs out, and there's like stars and shit, like as you're rubbing her tentacle with your salve.
And now the target treats me as a trusted ally until proven otherwise.
She was already.
That's pretty cool.
She was already doing that.
I misspoke. It's the next creature that they see as a trusted ally.
Oh, okay. That's
it's technically a poison.
It's a ploy for the cookie play. I like this.
Yes,
I like
it's
this.
a poison. So it's a setup. It's a setup for Cookie.
I see. I like this.
That
Okay.
makes slightly more sense.
Way more sense than like.
Yes. No, for sure. No, for sure.
You doing this for no reason.
You like me now, person who likes me.
And then I sort of, we have another short little chat, and then I bid farewell, and then as soon as I'm around the corner, I go,
Hey, Cookie, this is Slippy. Come in.
You have to be the next person. Go.
I hope you got a minute because you gotta go see him now. I'll delay him as much as I can.
and then I'm gonna hide nearby and try and prevent people from coming close to being the next person. And that's how I'm gonna spend my week.
As a like an arbitrary character choice, 100% too busy to visit the.
No, I believe you.
Oh, perfect.
I cannot. I will not be. I don't think I'm even going to answer this radio call.
I mean, I'm not gonna call you again immediately, but I'm probably gonna start calling you around day 2.
We will.
I'm very busy with my mushrooms.
Yeah, but I poisoned her. I poisoned the old lady. She's gonna love it.
Yeah, but what's better for mushrooms than botanists?
If God says that I can go, then I'll go. But otherwise, I'm very busy researching this mushroom that I want.
BBW.
Yeah.
What are you doing this week?
I wanted to say earlier that I'd also want to visit the botanist, but I think I'd rather go see the chef.
Everyone
Whatever
visits the
chef we have.
botanist.
I want to go see the
the
chef.
botanist today.
Um,
Not today.
Today.
He's very curious as to whether they can eat or not. Because they figure out can drink things. They want to figure out their origin of their,
Yeah,
the keg.
there isn't like a specific.
No, my quest!
There isn't like a specific. That's gonna be fucking hilarious. He just gets it done without Cookie even there. Next time he asks, "Can you eat?" He's gonna say no or yes. Emphatically, I know. So there isn't like a chef for the ship. This thing is so friggin' huge that like for your ship definitely, but like for this station there isn't even a cooking staff. There's not like a kitchen. Where a lot of the common folk of the ship go is to the big, it's like a 3-floor quote unquote open air market. It's not open air, but it goes up to like a glass ceiling, and it's just like, imagine like a mall food court basically, but like 3 stories. And so there's shops. This is the closest thing that your ship has to just like an open market. For our mechanical terms, you guys can pretty much come here for anything you want. I want to begin developing out like cool niche shops, but for now we just have like the commons shop as we go. But as you enter here, BBW, do you have a sense of smell? What's your like smell sensors like?
I can't determine exactly what I smell, but it's more like it tells me I am smelling something. It's more just like a sensor.
Is fragrant.
Okay, then
Indeed.
your scent sensors as you enter this market are going off. And I think you might have like different maybe indicators of like what's going on, and there's just so many different scents that whatever that sensor is in your system is just being overloaded. And for our conditions, there's just like an overwhelming amount of smells going on in this place. Lots of cooking foods, lots of drying things, stuff from other planets. Like it's so diverse. Let's see. Why don't you're after something to eat? Why don't you give me a we'll do a spout lore here as well. I'll make it story based.
That's a 4 total.
Mark 1 experience. You spend a lot of this time in this open air market going up and down the stalls, looking at all of these different foods and just like analyzing them. You don't ever get up, I think, the data points to want to try to eat any of this. You just look at it and you're like, is this food? Is this food? I don't think you stop and you like talk to the different merchants, but you think to yourself,
Yes.
like you go from stall to stall, like, is this food? Is this food?
It is.
Is this BBW's dumb?
It is food. And I think you learn a lot about a lot of different foods during this week, but I don't think that you get up, I don't think that you know. I don't think you get any more if BBW knows about eating than you did. You know about food now. You can point out that something is probably food over something that isn't probably food.
An edible detector.
Based on this week. And I think that is a pretty cool point for BBW because he hasn't been able to do that yet.
There's only one more person I can trust then. And that's Cookie.
That's Cookie. Cookie can definitely say if it's food or not. Cookie, you've received this call from your ally to have...
She's not going to get any slippier. She's all buttered up.
Weather's buttered up. What do you do?
I cannot say that she was my priority, but if this is the opportunity that's put in front of me and I have then yes, of course.
Slippy, you're waiting in the bushes and a robot comes by. Think like C-3PO style robot. Tall, sort of gold aluminum plating body, and it just comes ambling up and ambling towards the clearing that old lady Weathers is watering plants in. What do you do?
I guess I come out of the bushes and I put my hand in front of him and I go, whoa, what's the hurry there, buddy? What's going on?
I was wanting to speak to the mistress of the gardens. Can I help you?
Oh, actually, you see, the mistress of the gardens she's meditating right now. So if you could wait about a while, she's trying to commune with these plants and she can't be disturbed. That's why even I wasn't even out in the open. I didn't even want her to visually just be disturbed.
I too have pressing matter. Roll parlay. He's holding a
Let me see. Is that charisma? Ooh, baby,
Yes.
It is charisma. All right, so that is a 10 plus 1, 11.
He's holding this robot is holding a salve in one hand, and it looks to the salve and it looks at you and it says, I can leave you my personal communication line if you wouldn't mind reaching out to me when she has a free moment.
Oh, yeah.
I have a pressing matter.
100%. If you here, put your number in my walkie-talkie.
In
here.
my walkie-talkie, he clicks the top a few times. He's like, click. This is all you have to do to reach me.
I'll ring you up as soon as she's finished. I promise.
Oh, thank you. And he wanders off. As this robot turns around to leave, it passes Cookie, and the robot even turns to Cookie and says, "Oh, the mistress of the garden isn't accepting visitors right now. I hear she's meditating." And he keeps
Slippy comes
wandering.
out of the- Okay, he doesn't stay great.
If that's so. Hey, wait. Hey.
Yes.
Hey. Can you eat?
Why, I never, he says, and he storms off, stomping much more heavily than he was before. And you come up upon old lady Weathers in the garden. She's watering many different sets of plants with her arms.
Lady of the garden, may I borrow some of your time, please?
She turns towards you and she says, "Oh, absolutely. I've been hoping that you would stop by." You also feel this buzz in your brain. You don't hear anything out loud, but you feel this buzz in your brain as she talks.
I bet that feels really wild to Cookie as an organism specifically designed to do the same thing.
Yeah, sort of communicate through pheromones, yeah.
Yeah, it's deeply weird. I'm gonna show her Power Shroom.
Power Shroom.
It's not the pinwheel, whatever it was. Whatever the thing was that isn't the pinwheel
Buzz Shroom
that I got for my Buzz Shroom. Yeah, I'm gonna show her that.
Room,
I
for
want to.
short.
I was foraging in some of the more industrial areas, and I discovered this. Gave me kind of a nasty zap when I harvested it. But I was curious if you could tell me any more about this mushroom.
Oh, yes, the buzz shroom. They do tend to grow along areas with a bit more power running through them. You'll notice them growing along the sides of sort of the big power channels that run especially out here in Food and O2. You'll find them, you know, among the dead and detritus along those big power lines. They might have given you a big zap. That's generally due to their excessive amount of adrenaline running through their body. It tends to feel like a zap when you touch it, but it is sort of a adrenaline secretion that they give off.
Are they the ones producing that adrenaline, or are they triggering that in me?
Oh, they are triggering that in you, as far as I have researched. I haven't really gotten as deep into the whys and hows of the buzz shroom, but I certainly would love to give it a go.
I could not agree more. I've been pondering this buzz shroom, and I've been thinking about the way that it zapped me and the localities that it is often found in. And I'm curious if maybe through our research, yours and mine, that the two of us could find a way to selectively breed this species to not just deliver power to those unfortunate enough to pick it with their bare hands, but to produce power in some way that we could independent themselves. It seems to me that we've experienced a lot of power out of lack of water here in the Delta. And if we could engineer this mushroom to produce energy for us, that would greatly help both the Delta and writ large, don't you think?
I think that I would agree that something like that could be very helpful. I think that the study of this organism might prove rather fruitful. If you are willing...
I was hoping that you would feel that way. I'm part of the mission crew often, so I don't have the time to like the long legwork research portions of this myself. But if you would be willing to undertake some of that for me while I'm on, I'm certain that I will bring back information or something fruitful for your pursuit in exchange on whatever my next mission is.
She says, I would be more than happy, I think, to undergo this research with you. I can begin looking into sort of the habits and growth of the buzz shroom as you are gone on your next mission, and when you return, we will spend some long nights here in the Food and O2 going over what we have learned.
As a token of goodwill, may I, for your own fungus garden, can I provide this excellent specimen? And I would like to give her my last sample of the Irinian spore.
She looks it over and says, my, this is not a specimen we've seen on the station quite yet. Is this something you're sure you want to give up?
Yes. I believe that if its properties could be explored by someone with more botanical experience than I possess, I'm a cook and a forager, not a botanist or a fungalist.
Fungalizer.
Funganalysis.
Funganalysis.
Myconologist is the actual
Broom scientist.
Anyways, if you could lend your experience to this, I think there would be far more use gained from it from your know-how than from mine. I can just cook it.
I would be more than willing to give this a look over along with the buzz shroom while you're gone on your next mission. I shall get started right away. Post haste.
I loved every syllable of that phrase.
And she takes this Irinian spore from you and she says, I find myself rather excited to begin my research. if you will excuse me, and she sort of begins sauntering off into the food and O2, further into the clearing.
Neat. I find myself very excited by your excitement.
So you folks are going through these various bits, and like I said in the beginning, Cookie has found herself pretty absent from the like living space in this past week. In a rare moment at the end of this week, Cookie does find herself back at the living space. All of you are a little more tired, I think, going through all of this. You're like going through hardcore research regularly as you all are sitting around enjoying a meal together, or maybe enjoying a meal together. BBW, are you enjoying the meal?
I'm enjoying watching the meal.
You're enjoying watching the meal?
I'm enjoying watching the meal because I am fearful of food at the moment.
You've been a little overwhelmed in the last week, so that makes sense.
We did go into an electrical storm, so...
True,
it's true.
Sorry about that.
All of a sudden, your comms
Take a recovery day.
all begin triggering so sort of a ship-wide SOS signal when they are trying to locate a team specifically. They will fire off this SOS signal to all their comms. So all of you get the signal at the same time, summoning you to the bridge command rather urgently.
On the way there, Slippy goes, "Oh fuck!" and he pulls out his walkie-talkie and he goes,
Hey, you can go see the botanist now.
Oh, thank Lord. Oh, over and out. You all run along to the bridge command, and things are in kind of a hubbub here. Lots of moving folks in and out of the room, and you're ushered over to the mission sort of control center that Teddy Rake controls. And he begins giving you the lowdown rather quickly. He says, there has been an SOS call from the team that was sent out to Vulcan 9 to do the exchange of sort of empty tanks for full tanks. The message was cut off, but it sounded like there had been some form of explosion at the station. This is a huge piece of energy for our station. 40% that is out, as most of you folks know, and if you don't at this point, it's necessary that you do. The 40% of the station that is out at any given point is powered by the magma from Vulcan 9. That is why these shipments are consistently sent out. Yes, with this SOS signal, we are in dire need of a team to go out and respond.
yeah, somebody should get right on that.
Fortunately,
oh, you mean us? Yes, I'm ready.
Unfortunately, we do mean you. Yeah, there is not really another team right now on the base that has is ship ready. So you are the 4 headed out.
Any other details that we should know? Maybe about the things that we're gonna get when we get back.
Like a reward for responding to an emergency signal?
I was more thinking praise personally, but I can't speak for everyone.
Can we please get like a pat on the back?
I'm sure that I
Medal.
can. I'm sure that I can arrange for the same sort of reward that would have been given initially had you done the initial drop off. I don't think that is particularly on everyone's minds at the moment.
Does stipulate bonuses for emergency unscheduled work.
Teddy says, I guess it does. Boy, this is becoming more and more unfortunate that you're the crew we have to rely on. Here's the dossier that you would have been given. And he hands you another phone book, same size as the one you were given for Arenia Minor, and says that if there's any other news that comes in, they will have it sort of forwarded to your ship along the way.
Understood. And would you like perhaps a more direct line to us next time so that you don't have to, use the intercom if you need help from the old, whatever the name of our squad is? I have a walkie-talkie you can put your
you
number
folks
into
have
right
got the
there.
walkie-talkies. You picked up the walkie-talkie.
Sure did, boss.
Sure, here's my direct number.
Hell yeah.
And he clicks
I
his direct
promise I
number
will
into your
not abuse
walkie-talkie.
this.
Sure. He doesn't believe you. And you folks, do you rush over to load out? Is there anything else you prepare before loading out?
Flippy's ready.
No preps? All right. You dive towards the ship and jump on the ship. This time,
I do.
Oh,
Wait,
you do.
I do, because this is a mission. And
Yes.
so I've got to make some rolls.
You got to make some babies.
Talk to me about your. Oh yeah, your
Potential
egg
babies.
rolls. Yeah, we'll talk. We'll produce your. Theoretically, this happens while we're like flying towards the planet, but yes. If a day passes in game, we'll talk about more eggs.
I mean, didn't a bunch of days pass in game?
Like 7, which means Trutches has hatched because they were 4 days incubated.
Theoretically, Chutches and there was another space pirate that got fed them too. Theoretically, they have both hatched by the end of this week, and by the time you guys are taken off, there is theoretically a Chutchling or 2 out there. They might all be called Chutchlings at this point. But you have 3 eggs. Leaving on this mission. We'll find a way to roll that and be prepared for that in the future. But I like that because that gives you like a range of ingredients, you know? Yeah. So you have 3 eggs as you folks take off. Your current ship is -4 preparation. So Dante, roll me a D100 and -4 from it. This is for preparation roll. You guys jet. The journey that you have to Vulcan 9 is about as long as the journey was to Iridium Minor, which is about 18 hours at top speed on the ship.
93.
93?
Sorry,
Did you
83.
83? Did you mind it? Is that with -4?
Yeah.
Wow, you guys have gotten some good rolls. All right. You folks are flying through space at top speed as much as your ship will allow. You're on an SOS run to help a fellow space crew, and all of a sudden BBW notices on the sensors a massive blip. It is not like a meteor. It's like a huge object, and it is long too. It's not like a planet. You notice planets and asteroids, all these things are generally like more rounder blips on your sensor that is pretty good at reading like size of and shape of things, but generally you're looking at like rounder objects. What you're looking at here is a massive oblong object on your sensor, and you're peering out into space. It's pretty far away still. You can't quite see it from where you're at, but you notice this massive thing. What do you guys do?
Well, it's just this giant object on the sensors. What is that? I've never seen that before.
You think we could lower one of us on a rope onto it?
Does it look electrical?
Well, you folks don't even necessarily know what it is yet. You're gonna have to go towards it to know what it is.
We can't. We're on an SOS run. Slippy says in character.
Yeah, you decide not to adjust your path, but your path is sort of cutting by it, and by the time you're at like, you know, you're about to pass it, you're at the closest point you're going to be towards it. You can kind of see it off to the edge of your ship. It looks like a body, just a huge dead creature kind of floating in space, like planet-sized creature floating pretty far away in space.
I sure hope we never see one of those alive.
Think we can harvest anything valuable from that?
He wants to get lowered on a rope onto it. Slippy puts a finger on his nose.
8 tentacles on my lack of a nose.
I have no nose.
Oh, well.
Guess you gotta go.
Personally, I think we shouldn't mess with it.
That's
Probably a
fine.
good
We
idea.
have a better chance of screwing up and waking this thing up than we do of actually gaining anything from it.
No, we'll get. I prefer the pat on the back that we're gonna get from the captain.
Pass it?
I mean, let's tell the ship to mark it and report it back. But no.
Slippy pulls up his mic, his walkie-talkie, and he calls the captain.
You just hear a buzz. At this point in space, the walkie-talkies do not connect to personal.
Slippy goes, "Dang it!" And then Slippy calls BBW.
What is this?
Wrong number, sorry.
And then he hangs up.
Okay, you guys pass this body floating through space and jet along towards your mission. At the end of the 18 hours, you see in your windshield, I don't know, in the glass of your ship, this glowing red planet. You can see like blips of darker red in there, and your ship's AI readout labels it as Vulcan 9, a magma planet. This is where you know you need to be. The SOS signal is immediately marked on your map. I think you guys injected that whatever data in as you left, and it is marked on your map at a little blip on the planet, and you fly your ship over near it. What you see is a landmass of like hardened magma, and you see the remnants of a big metal facility that has sort of like 3/4 of the way sank into magma. There is like still a few supporting beams supporting about 25% of the original structure, but it looks like it has been smashed off. It doesn't look like it has just like been cleanly severed. It looks like something large smashed the top of this thing and like wrecked out like 3/4 of the facility. And that's what you
I can think of something that was large that I saw recently.
that's what you folks see floating. You're still up in the cloud-ish area in the ship.
Do we see any barrels of magma?
You see a few steel barrels out front, but they're in like, there's like a few barrels in a pile here. There's a few knocked over here. None of them look like prepared for a shipment of any kind. You actually also see another ship. You see another ship kind of similar to yours, but a little bit more by the book, like off the shelf or whatever. It is just kind of sitting out front, parked, sitting there.
Well, gang, where should we go and check out first? I say we go and see if there's anybody in the ship over there or anything.
We might want to check to see if there's anyone still alive in the sinking facility that's about to sink into lava.
I was
if there is anyone alive,
to be honest with you. I mean, I'll go. I just don't want to go first.
That's fair. I also don't really want to go first because, I kind of live in the water, and that's the opposite of magma. But also, I do stab things, so I can go first.
Magma's just really hot water.
I get it.
I don't think that's true.
Magma's just extra hot water. Everyone in space knows this.
Yeah, but extra hot water is very bad for me.
Fair.
Is that how the states of matter work?
Yes. In space.
There was once where I ingested
ice, water, magma.
What's up, BBW?
There was once where I ingested a lot of extra hot water. So I'm sure this will be no different.
Okay.
You're going to drink it?
No, I'll just go in.
Do you folks bring your ship in for a landing?
Let's do it.
And your ship does dock sort of, it's just on an open slab of cooled magma. Pretty close to this other ship. Having like parked and rested, you can see from your position that their back hatch, that like descending door into their cargo bay, is open.
Well, where to first? First, I say to the combat officer,
let's check the open ship.
Hell yeah, let's go loot.
All four of you, you truck out as a squad?
Yep.
One by one.
I'll take the lead. We'll put, I guess, probably BBW in the back.
Yeah, BBW, we need to protect the disarm bot.
True.
Well, no, I was saying I think BBW is the second most competent one, so he can hold up the rear.
That too.
I think combat wise, that makes sense, right? Carl in the front. If you put BBW in the back and Cookie sort of in the middle, and maybe Slippy off to one of the sides, he can like watch aside.
I think we're in the shape of a 4. At the tip of the 4 is Carl, and then like you got Slippy and Cookie, and then at the bottom of the 4 you've got BBW.
I like the 4 maneuver. I like the 4 maneuver. All right, you folks are forward up. I'm just gonna call that forward up. You're forward up and pointed towards this allied ship. You come around the side and notice the open door. What you also notice is a gravity cart. We're going to say it's a standard issue gravity cart. You have the same exact gravity cart on your ship that you've used last mission even. And it is loaded up with canisters, and it is tipped over on the other side. Like it was coming down the ramp and something happened and the whole thing tipped off. And there's like steel barrels that have kind of rolled along, but you don't know at which point that was done. What do you do?
Where are the barrels? They're scattered.
Yeah. It looks like this gravity cart was carrying this shipment of barrels either up or down. You're not 100% sure yet, and it has tipped off and fallen, and the barrels have kind of rolled out a bit.
Or are they in sight? I just want to.
Yes, they are in
and
sight. They are in sight, and they're nearby. They're just like kind of maybe one
there any,
has
like-
rolled off a little further, but the rest are like right there.
Are there any identifiable symbols just to make sure they're not like hazardous chemicals or anything?
So from our mission prep, you know that these barrels, if we're being brought here, if these are like the barrels that the team brought here, they're empty. If they were barrels that are being picked up, they're filled with magma. There is no indicator on like just from sightline from this point of view if they are filled with magma or are empty, but they are theoretically the magma barrels.
Right. So, what exactly is our current goal?
Your current goal is to respond to the SOS signal given by this team. Theoretically, it's to save the team, but it's not like
we're not necessarily here to get these tanks of magma. So I'm not really concerned with those at all. We can just push in.
The SOS mission that you're here on is to save this team. You know that the mission that you were supposed to, that like the basic mission to this planet is pick up fresh mag barrels, drop off empties. If you can do both, maybe you secure that payment. If you're just here doing the SOS thing, you'll get that like hazard pay that Gabe talked about.
Team consensus. I'm just the combat officer. Do we feel like picking all this shit up?
I think maybe we should look around for some sort of tool to pick this stuff up, or some sort of like space wheelbarrow.
Anybody know how to fix a grav lift thing?
Yeah, I could give it a shot. I have in my bag of tools. Hold on. All right, I rolled a 12, so it's not the only thing in my bag of tools.
Love it.
I pull out a gravity wrench.
Sure.
To help fix the thing.
Sure.
As opposed to the gravity hammer, which everybody's familiar with.
Yeah, I'm not just hitting it with this wrench, I promise.
Slippy gives a go at fixing this gravity cart, and what you notice is that for the most part, it's actually pretty undamaged. Maybe there's a few bolts and stuff that you tighten to get it to like actually whir back on, and after you like flip it back to neutral, it whirs and floats back above the ground. And with that, I think that you know that the gravity car itself was only damaged by the fall it took off of this ramp. Yes, but the gravity cart is up and working again. The barrels are on the ground. I think now that you're close enough to them, you see that these are the empty barrels they were coming to deliver. So at some point while they were pulling them off the ship, something happened, and now you have the scene before you. Do you guys explore the ship or head towards the factory?
I think Slippy wants to make sure that there's no one still left on the ship, because the bandits ran into this situation where they didn't know that we had a friend in the ship.
Very true.
So I don't want to get ambushed by somebody from on the ship like later.
Very true. That was the bandits' downfall.
So I guess the stern reality is probably
yes,
a 7 plus whatever. I've got a -1, so it's actually a 6.
Okay, so Slippy discerns realities on the ships. On the ship, he looks around. It seems Slippy gets distracted by there's a bunch of footsteps sort of scramble around here and then headed off towards the station in a fast fashion. Slippy gets the impression actually that none of these footsteps led back to the ship.
Yeah. There's some footsteps that have happened for sure. That's a failure, right? A 6 is a failure.
Yes, mark 1 experience.
Oh yeah.
Sorry.
I just wanted to make sure that I marked that correctly.
Yep.
Well, I guess that's all for me, Tombleson as Slippy.
Slippy points
Until
out
the
that all
next
these
6 seconds.
these footsteps are sort of headed towards the factory. You folks head in that direction?
I think so.
Let's go.
Makes sense to me. Onward.
You folks head towards the factory. You approach this. It is there are some steel stairs cutting up to a closed metal door. This whole thing is made of metal. That way I don't have to say metal a billion times. Everything on this fucking station is metal. It's made of not necessarily steel, but of a very temperature resistant metal, because it is also sitting in liquid magma as to not press that heat up
It's not
into.
shielded like on Mustafar. It's just hot resistant metal.
Right, it's just heat resistant
Got
metal.
it.
To approach, there are these steel. I'm just gonna call them steel. We're gonna pretend that it's steel plus. Steel plus. There are these steel stairs cutting up into a door that is jammed shut, and that is basically the front of the station. There aren't like windows. This is just like very like industrial, right? It's sheets of metal, bolts, and the door needed to go on it. You see,
Can we discern what it's jammed?
I just mean that it is closed firmly shut. Like the rest of the station is damaged off, and if you come across like an abandoned, I don't know, space station, sometimes you see those doors just like loosely opening and closing. I mostly meant by that it is just shut. The rest of the station, though, you can see like is just like in the magma, and it's stationary in the magma, right? You're not coming across this as it's like falling into the magma. Just 3/4 of this station has been broken off at some point and is now about 2 stories lower into the magma and kind of destroyed. What do you do?
I try the door.
I'd like to discern some realities.
I won't try the door yet.
Discern some realities, Cookie.
Well, that's a 7.
Okay, so you get to ask one question from the list.
I think I mean, what should I be on the lookout for? I'm specifically thinking dangers, but if it turns out it's not a danger thing, then it's not a danger thing. But Cookie's
No,
on the
this is
lookout
great.
for danger because we're on Magma Planet.
No, this is great. I think your team approaches the front of the station. Your team begins walking up the steel stairs towards the door. Slippy, I would say Slippy next to Carl at this point, since Slippy said like I want to open the door or check the door. So Slippy is up there getting ready to reach for the door while Carl is like prepared for what's beyond. Cookie actually peers off beyond the door and out into the magma for a moment, distracted by there's a lot of like blurbles of like magma bubbles coming to the top and like popping and you know there's a lot of movement out there. But Cookie is distracted by a different movement out there. With amongst all of these blurbles and pops of magma, Cookie sees a shape crest the magma and slither sort of long ways in the magma and then go back down beneath. And it is large. It creates ripples next to it.
Oh no, it's a flaming hot worm.
What do you do about that, Cookie?
Let's get inside right now.
I'm trying.
Slippy reaches for the door and it is locked. That clunk 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 happens as Slippy tries to like pull it open. There's like a little clunk, and then you hear a voice from behind the door. What?
Special delivery. It's
Message from the
hell.
Delta Dawn. We're here to we are responding to your SOS.
Oh, thank God. And the door flies open and there is you see a worker. She is rather young. I'll say like 16. She has burns all up and down the side of her body. You see actually her hand is missing and it is in a charred stump. She ushers you inside before she like pokes her head out and like peeks around real quick and slams the door shut. In here you see a lot of injured folks. You see her, who is at the door. There is 2 folks who are clad in space crew leathers coming from the ship. There is a robot. The robot is sort of humanoid. It has 3 legs and an extra arm coming out of its back to do little like work things. It is heavily damaged. One of its legs is sitting next to its body and one of its arms is just missing completely. And the other person is a human and they are in very critical condition, just like unconscious on a bed. The robot is sitting next to them. There's a couple other workers here who have various burns of some kind, but they seem pretty fine.
Hey, what's his deal?
They came to drop off the delivery, and there was a fusion reactor malfunction, and it caused a loud boom, and an explosion in the back of the processing plant. And generally we deal with stuff like this all the time, and can
That
recover.
sucks.
It only took out a small portion of the facility, easily rebuildable. However, the sound called something from the magma up, and it came, and its wrath took out most of the station, and every time we try to leave to head towards their ship, it returns and causes some sort of trouble. We just all really want to get out of here.
Yeah, but
Damn, y'all
what
got magma monsters?
what about the almost dead guy? What's his deal?
He was hit by a lot of flying debris and some drops of magma.
Okay.
He's in rather critical
I don't
condition.
think I've prepared anything in my bag of tricks to help with that.
I have a magma healing potion.
I pull a hammer out. Nope, that's not gonna help.
Seems like they've summoned a dragon.
This sounds like Dune, but with fire instead of sand.
Dragons, and we're not playing Dungeons and Dragons.
Any idea on how we could make a bigger noise somewhere else?
A bigger, yeah. I mean, if you just cause an explosion somewhere else, you might be able to draw it away.
Well, that would be a cool idea, huh?
The robot kind of bleeps on like it's kind of powering up from rest mode and says, the station relies on the magma from this processing plant to power 40% of its life force.
Yeah, I know.
And then it says, we must do something, and powers back down.
Can I go and replace his batteries out of my bag of tricks? Does he take double A's?
He doesn't take double A's, but you can do.
I rolled a 10, so I still have more things.
He doesn't. I don't know. You can have more things, but he doesn't take double A's.
Yeah, you gotta have double A.
I'll fiddle with his back while other people are doing other things. I'll figure out what I need.
I love that.
Just the right robot power cable.
BBW, do you have anything about this situation that draws to you?
These people are in need of entertainment.
Oh, damn.
Firstly, I want to try and mend at least a couple wounds. This looks beyond
birthday.
Absolutely. That's what I was going to do. I want to walk up to
Is it your birthday?
the person who let us in. I want to go up to grab any of the wounds and try do first aid on them.
Yeah. Do you have to make I think you have to make a roll for use machines on that.
So that's an 8.
You do your thing. You pull out your weapon, or your weapon. Good lord. What is so? This is your first aid.
Might now.
This is your first aid. What machine does your first aid? What is the look of this? Stop that. What is the look of all of your spells take place in machines that kind of look like we had talked about party favors for you as entertainer bot. What kind of party favor is this healing machine?
It's from my fingertips, and there's I used to be able to inflate balloons. So the machine is my fingers are now pop open, and that's what will do the repairing on the person.
I like that. I like that little pop open. If not a person, it gives a burst of air, but you can also, I guess, repurpose it in this case to heal.
Is it your birthday today? Is that why you've called us?
No. And she seems to wince in a little bit of, I don't know, when you're putting alcohol on a wound, it hurts to heal. She winces a little bit in pain and steps back. It's not, wow. I really appreciate that. I already feel a bit better. And outside you hear an ear-splitting roar that cuts through this station. It seems to vibrate in the walls. What does your team do?
I bet if we could make that noise somewhere else, it would draw the worm away.
Wait, I have a thing that can record sounds.
How's your PA system?
Is it possible if I can just whip that out real quick?
You want to whip out you said PA system?
To record that sound.
Oh,
whatever little bit I can.
Yeah, I'll say the recording that you pick up is as if you held the cell phone up real quick and hit record, It's like that that tinny sort of blared record, but you get it. Everyone in here seems to go dead silent. And in fact, the little girl you're healing kind of crumples into the corner and hides. Yes. She whispers in a low voice, "Try not to use any of your machines that rely on electricity. It seems to be able to sense the pulses created by those machines."
From my abdomen compartment, I want to reach and grab a necklace, a bead necklace. I'll put it around her.
Like a Mardi Gras, like the Mardi Gras bead necklace?
Yeah.
I fucking love it.
hilarious.
Dude, I love it. Does
I
that
was
do
gonna put it
anything,
on
or
your
is that
First
just a
thought-
party
my first
favor?
thought was like a rosary, but then it was like, no, party robot, New Orleans.
Is
Nah,
that
it doesn't do anything.
love it? I love it even more that it doesn't do anything. Carl, where do you sit at after this roar?
I want to ask are there any defenses at all in any of these facilities? Because that sounds big.
Well, yes, she says. They just, most of them are closer to the magma facing side of the facility that has been drawn into the magma. Mostly what we have now are the sort of person-based weapons. We have a few guns, all magma powered. They might
I
be able
imagine
to
those
pierce
don't
the
do
shell.
much against a magma monster.
They seem to do a bit of damage. It's just,
Okay.
it's we're talking like a gun versus a beast, It's just,
That's like a
can you
building.
do enough? We haven't been able to with these, but that's what we got.
haven't upgraded the weapons on our ship yet. Instead, I bought these walkie-talkies.
Yeah, that might not have been the best idea. I didn't have enough money to buy anything.
Yeah, but now we can call the captain, and Slippy tries to call the captain again.
It's just static buzz.
What did the captain say?
He said, "Buh."
Ah, man, that guy's never
Say
helpful.
that. I don't trust him. It's one of my bots.
Right? That guy works for the government. I can tell.
So, Carl, is there anything that you do with that info?
Well, they said they had some defenses on the other side of the compound. What kind of defenses are those?
The side of the compound that has fallen into the magma?
Are there, like, all of it has gone down? There's nothing left?
She says, well, most of the facility seemed to fall into the magma, but some of it is still sustained above. We would need to lower someone down in order to access the weaponry there. So it's not necessarily weaponry, it's more of a defense mechanism. It produces it produces a loud blast of sound that generally keeps these beasts away. We don't necessarily know how this one got up in it, but that is our defense mechanism. It's sort of like a bat. If you produce a loud noise, it'll go the opposite direction. That's what we do here. We don't generally try to kill them. We just push them away because this is their habitat. We're just trying to get some magma. So that is down there. It could be down there. I haven't been down there. We would have to lower someone down to even find out if it's in the section.
So presumably, if we backtrack to one of the two ships, we could lower something to grab some of that weaponry and pull it up and utilize it. If there's
it is built into the station.
It sounds like it's a button.
You'll need to activate the wall crank if the wall crank is above magma. All of this is saying that
Gotcha. Okay.
the sonic is not in the magma.
So if
no
we
worries
could
then.
record this device, what if I use that recording I have of its roar to just shoot it back at it and scare it away
I
or
don't
something?
know.
Yeah, try that out.
We've never been able to do that. So I don't know. But also, what if you call it here, she says. What if instead of scaring it away, its own call kind of brings it to us?
We need to put the call on somewhere else.
Then maybe we could throw it a party.
Maybe
a loud party.
a loud
somewhere
party.
Else. But you're saying if we go out and try and get back on our ships, we're probably going to die?
Every time we have tried to go and get on their ship, the creature has returned and attacked.
I'm going to try and stealth out to our ship.
Give me a defy danger dexterity. That's what we used for stealth for Carl.
Grand total of a 5.
All right. Mark
Go
one
ahead and mark
experience.
That almost level 2 now.
I kind of want to intertwine this. I want to get Cookie's point of view as well. Cookie, where do you sit at with this situation? You see Slippy starting to prepare. I think even Slippy mentioned something about trying to sneak back to the ship real quick right before he takes off. What do you do?
I did just ask, hey, have you guys tried to go back to the ship?
Yeah, exactly. There you go.
Do we have anyone who's dying?
The robot is injured. The human that the robot is sitting next to is unconscious and severely injured. Like we're talking battlefield style med bay that you guys are in.
Is this
And everyone
this
around you
human
is
that-
injured.
this human is a Delta member, or is this a colonist?
The robot and the human. Those two are members of the Delta. Theoretically, they own that ship out there.
I would like to use Test Kitchen. I would like to hunt for an ingredient that drives off monsters or like repels them, or like I want to drive this thing away with my super foraging skills.
Building foraging skills.
You want to find an anti-magma beast mushroom on a magma planet.
I'm going to call this one a
mushroom.
Cook check.
It could be like some special charcoal.
I'm going to call this one a cook check.
All right. Same rule, but all right.
So,
I'm going to try and cook. I'm going to make a special smell for this thing. That's an 11. Pick 2.
Pick 2. It's going to take hours. And you will need, so you mentioned this idea. I want to produce something. The young girl who has been conversing with your team says that there is a sulfurous flower that grows atop the sort of highest plateaus of this cooled magma, which is not particularly high. Like if we're talking like where you folks are even standing, it's probably like 10 feet above your head, like the highest point of this cooled magma. But these sulfurous flowers grow up there called sulfur flowers, sure. And the beasts, she says, tend to avoid these clearings. We don't exactly know why, but maybe it's the flower itself. So maybe if you were able to collect some of that flower, you might be able to get what you're looking for.
Is this all before Slippy has run away?
No, this is like right before Slippy is, like, as Slippy's preparing to slip out.
I'm putting on my metal shoes to get ready to sneak.
All right, let's see.
More of a long-term solution. Yeah.
All right, I have a thought.
Yes.
There's this flower, and I know the techniques to distill botanicals down into their essential oils, and I have it on good authority, small child, that this essential oil will repel the beastie out there. But I think we're going to need teamwork in order to carry out this plan.
She looks around and at all her injured comrades and the injured back Atmos folks.
Oh no, not you. No, our team.
Well,
not you.
But I'll need to lead you to where that is.
Can you draw a map?
Sure.
Yeah.
That makes more sense as she draws up a map using charcoal.
Thank you. Okay. Quick team huddle.
As Slippy is getting next to the door, he
Yes, this is Slippy, over.
at the door. Reaching in, he pulls up his...
My first instinct is to snatch his walkie-talkie and throw it in the magma.
I'm gonna defy that. I'm gonna defy that roll. My dexterity.
Defy danger.
I don't. That's not. First instinct is not what I actually try to do.
Defy danger.
I want to.
You wouldn't have been able to do it anyway.
I'll never know that. Quick team huddle. So we need a few things to make this happen. We need a team of at least 2 to go and get this flower. It's probably going to be either me or Carl needs to escort, and by escort I mean carry, that injured crew member back to the ship.
Oh, I've already got my metal shoes on for sneaking, so I'm ready.
All right, well then you need to sneak to the flowers, I think.
No,
that's more important.
He's got his
than getting this ship.
He's got his sneak plan planned out.
Yep.
No, all right.
It's gonna go wonderful.
He could sneak to the flowers after this, but he is first at least going to try to sneak to the ship. Just like to see what he can do.
It's not going to go well.
It's not going to go well.
No. Well, I don't know that yet.
Nope.
Neither do I, technically.
All right. Then I'm gonna put my faith in Slippy here because that's what our bonds dictate. Slippy and Carl, can you take this crew member back to the ship?
Yep.
And put them in the med bay?
Why don't you use your 8 arms to carry them, Carl?
Yes.
Because I have a
I
bad
need
feeling.
8 arms.
Because I have to walk with several of those, and the other ones are for stabbing things that get in our way. Hence, protect the target.
Well, okay, I guess I'll carry her then.
Damn right you will.
That leaves
no
myself
great.
and the robot to quickly follow this map drawn by a child to the flowers. Then we will all reconvene here, and the next part of the plan will be put into motion.
And Slippy says,
And then I'm gonna motion at Slippy for like a bonus team huddle.
Slippy comes even closer.
I hand Slippy one of my eggs. I say,
You're a dad now.
Am I a dad now? I can't. What am I going to
this
tell
is your
Clarissa?
baby.
Nope,
Nope,
dad.
Nope, no.
No dads. That's kind of a 4-letter word here. As soon as you're out of sight of all of these people, feed them that.
Feed who that?
The injured human.
Oh, okay, got it.
Feed it to them. I have smeared you in pheromones, so it should happen pretty quick. But we need a distraction, and there's only 4 of us, and we're all sort of essential to the plot. So feed them that. Hopefully they'll hatch.
I'm totally down with this.
And then we have some kind of a distraction so that we have a little bit of time to brew this essential oil, because I need hours to distill this thing. I turn to Carl and I say, just watch what Slippy does. And if you have questions, please come and sit with me later.
That's an ideal way to put that, because first Slippy decides that before he does all that, he wants to check. He feels challenged, moreover, that the other group was unable to sneak out to their ship. And so as you turn to talk to Carl, you hear out of, like the corner of your periphery that the door opens and closes, but it doesn't recognize until you turn after talking to Carl and see that Slippy is gone. Slippy is
I wasn't listening to anything that Cookie said other than here's the egg, take it.
Here's the
Cookie
egg.
was just like, can't tell me not to sneak back to my own ship. I'm gonna go back there right now.
And Slippy is on the way to the ship. There are a few barrels on like the flat portion, like the platforms of this staircase as you go up and down. And Slippy he's sneaking. He's sneaking down the staircase, but because he doesn't at all need to be sneaking, he's just like sneaking to prove a point. He like trips up on that last step and bumbles into a barrel. And that barrel, it's like the last step before a platform before some more steps. And that barrel goes clanging down the steps and bounces along the magma. And I think you inside, all of you, hear that clang down the steps. And then there's a brief silence. And then a loud roar overtakes this station, and the walls shake. And Slippy, you see, you turn your head and you see in this lake of magma, very close to the shore, right next to this area where the station is like kind of crumbling down, the magma begins to roil and bubble, and a huge purple worm crests through the magma and faces its mouth hole towards you. Its rupturing of the magma causes the other 3/4 of the station basically to begin sinking into the magma. It closes its worm mouth, I guess, and then spits it forward, and a large ball of magma flies through the air right towards Slippy on the staircase. And that before we end, we must speak of the questions so that we can mark experience. So first, session end. Did we learn something new and important about the world? Gabe gives a thumbs up.
I learned a bunch of new and important things about the world.
Carl
like
did.
history.
Yeah,
Power generating mushrooms, all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, the whole team just learned a lot of new important things, and we got a bunch of like projects rolling. Did we overcome a notable monster or enemy?
Old man with Or old lady Withers got her.
We
to love
definitely
us.
didn't fight anything because I think I rolled once.
Yeah, I would also say nay on the
No,
overcoming a
probably not.
notable monster enemy. Did we loot a memorable treasure? Probably also not.
Nope.
Everyone marks 1 XP for learning something new about the world. Bonds I wanted to talk about because as I was listening to the bits, I thought, Carl, one of your bonds was BBW seems eager to break the law and I want to nurture that anti-establishment attitude in him. The way that you have phrased it here, yes, but when we were talking about it, the way that we had spoken, you said BBW, we had spoken about how Carl thinks that all machines exist for the quote unquote man's purpose. And you were looking for BBW to prove that he is working for the people. And I thought that while you folks were in the mine, BBW spent several of his turns actually focused on healing the miners rather than fighting. And I was curious if you thought that that was something that may trigger a change in this bond.
I think definitely that, and also like just generally a lot of BBW's behavior has been like generally proof of sentience.
Yeah.
Like the fact that he wants to know what food is, like desires sentience. Like
Yeah.
see, I'd say that could be crossed off.
Okay.
Could be, or you know.
Yeah, so something can be, I think, marked about that. That has changed your feeling. I think I want you to think on that sentence and like how that evolves into what its new bond is for next session. But I think you can mark 1 experience for marking that. And that also goes for BBW, along with your first one. Carl is distrustful of machines. I will prove their value. Seemingly, you proved...
It looks like...
Oh, no, I was going to say, seemingly you have proved just that. What think you?
I think a little bit. BBW has a hard time distinguishing their relationships between people, of course.
Mm-hmm.
They're thinking, is it your birthday rather than how are you feeling?
That's pretty funny.
I'm sure after they prove that, they'll feel a bit more confident in that. And they'll prove more of their sentience that way.
Okay.
But I feel much better about this relationship.
Okay, so
I
mean, I think that that's still like Carl is no longer so distrustful of all machines. So
For sure.
You've proven their value in some form or fashion. I think you should think on how to change the sentence before we play again, which is Carl's distrustful of machines. I will prove their value, because I think you can mark 1 experience now for having satisfied that. Like Carl, like I said, Carl is specifically more trustful of you. So like you have earned your place in that. Maybe we can talk about extending that to other machines. Maybe we can talk about becoming more trustful in Carl's eyes. Whatever that feels like in for BBW, I think you can, evolve that. But you can mark 1 experience for having done just that. For through Slippies, I know I can trust BBW to have my back when things go wrong. Do you feel like that one has changed at all? Do you think that it's more so? Do you think it's less so? Do you think that he's had your back? I think we can also, like, if they develop an endpoint, like if that's proven true and now for like beyond a shadow of a doubt, then you can change it.
I don't think that it has happened yet.
Okay.
I don't think we have done because it was mostly interim stuff this time around, and I was just more con stuff with Cookie.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that very much happened. So we'll see what happens here, because I'm kind of fucked right now.
Yes.
Slippy's real fucked right now. It's a good thing I'm an alien, so I'm gonna get a +1 to my escape attempt, but I don't know how well that's gonna go.
Yes, ideal. Okay, perfect. I just wanted to check. And Cookie, are any of your 3 bonds? I don't know.
I keep trying to move Carl's forward. We're not there yet. I think I'm gonna rewrite it for next session so that I make sure that it works.
Well, before we rewrite it, we have to make sure
it's definitely changed.
Before we rewrite it, we have to make sure that we can satisfy it in some form or fashion. So if we can...
Oh, well then, no. We sure cannot.
Okay. Even if you can, like, ethereally say that, like, this connects to that, we can say check mark and you can develop a new bond, but...
a little bit. Yeah. I have learned that robots get offended when you ask them if they can eat.
True, but that doesn't answer the question.
That was a bit peculiar.
It's similar. That's as close as I can get.
I mean, can a robot eat? I must know. That can I feel like the initial like curiosity behind this is more about discovering if they can eat, not like because you could change it into I know robots get offended if you approach this about them, so I'll find a different way to approach it. That may be a thing because it's developed your relationship with the robot culture in doing that. But if the root of it is like I need to know if a robot can eat food, then maybe not. Until you at least try. But I feel like if you sit down with BBW and share a meal with him that you have cooked, like made a cook roll on, then you might actually be able to check off like Kaarl's and the robots if you can do a cook meal with the whole crew, right? Because you'll share a meal with Kaarl, and that is a big check mark on that one, and then you'll know about BBW.
Okay.
All right. Okay. So that's where we are, you folks. Hopefully marked experience as we went through, because I don't remember at the moment, but when I go back through and edit, I will I'll retell if anyone missed one. Sweet. Other than that, we'll be back next time to deal with the magma worm.
And Slippy's imminent demise.
And Slippy's in imminent demise.
I know next time on Dragon Ball Z.
I feel like magma might do more than 6 bats worth of damage, so we'll see.
Ready to watch a friend die.